Yeah.
So we do the Old England, sync it up. Welcome. All right, I'd like to welcome to the podcast today very special guest, Mr. Jayden Walker.
Thanks for having me, boys. This is going to be fantastic.
It will indeed. He's the front man for Nucleust, also the mastermind behind Aries Productions.
Yeah, I didn't know about that till yesterday.
Yeah, it's my alter ego.
Yeah.
It's my troll page. I can sling out the dirty feedback on there. No one knows it's me. It's good fun.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, I use that to do all my photography stuff. And yeah, it used to actually was started because Aries is like some Latin or bullshit other language word for air, and music is just the movement of air. So we thought it was clever.
I had to look it up yesterday. Like, what the fuck it meant.
Essentially, it's
So
music production.
I had to Google it.
So yeah, we thought, yeah, we'll go with that. And yeah, recording's a tough game to get into, so I didn't really pursue that. And the photography started to push a bit more coin back in my pocket. So
Well,
I thought,
especially with everyone having their own recording setups
Yeah.
at home, there's really no
and I
need.
couldn't mix, so for me it was like, hey, do you want to come around and like track the DIs of a guitar that you could obviously easily do for, you know, fucking less than $100 these days
Yep.
in the comfort of your own home. So yeah, don't really do that anymore. Just go take photos of people because you can't take photos of yourself on stage. So
So
That's
they
a
make
fair
like
point
a
too.
selfie sticky
For
controlled
bands,
by
yeah.
a guitar. Or
you just
The
strap it to
drummer
the end of
hit-
your headstock.
drummer hits a pad or something and it flash goes off.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Get a patent on that and you'll be all good to
Yeah,
go.
I'll just invent it now. Put you out of the work again.
Yeah. It's already hard enough.
So,
Bands are not known to have money up their sleeves to use on silly things like photography, but
Yeah.
no.
I managed to find a few.
So how did you originally get into music then?
It's just grown up around it my whole life, really. My dad's a muso, and he's always been into music, and played in bands, and early age memories I've got of him putting me in front of a keyboard and stuff, just like a little piano with headphones on, as a little kid, and pushing me through lessons in primary school for guitar and piano that I just hated and just pushed back hard against. We just really wanted me to get into it, but I was sort of just like, nah, this is gay. Piano's gay, acoustic guitar's gay. Don't want to do that, Dad.
That's kind of what I'm going through with my kids at the moment. But I don't want to push it on them too much because I know when I had guitar lessons pushed on me as a kid, I pushed back and said I don't really want to do it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's with kids. They don't really want to do what their dad's doing, and I didn't. And it wasn't until high school that I really started to get into it. But he left a little trail of breadcrumbs for me. Always had a guitar set up, ready to go. Always had an amp ready.
So cheers, Dad. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. He pushed me into it subtly, because I go watch him at the pub playing his cover bands, and I just remember the smoke, the smell of smoke when you could still smoke in pubs, and sleeping under the pool table that was backstage, kind of in the backstage area, in my doona all wrapped up. Dad's playing his gig.
Yeah.
This is a small town, just a small town local pub. Very safe, but yeah. So I've grown up around it, and in high school, like I think everyone that gets into metal, that sort of really started to influence them. And for me, it was bands like Trivium and that really struck me for some reason. And I was just like, guitar. And Dad just was just like, well, it's all there. So I just started getting into it. My mates would come over and like we would all play on Dad's instruments and kind of like jam out in my little studio that I'd been helped to set up with my dad and that. And yeah, like I just started getting right into guitar with all my mates. We just wanted to be in a band straight away, so we just started playing covers.
When you're young and
Yeah, like year 9, we just started playing Green Day, Grinspoon, like Wolf Mother, White Stripes, all that, just whatever we could to say we could play a song from start to finish.
yep.
Did your school have like a band program that got you into it?
No, it didn't.
No?
So me and a few rebellious friends just started doing it. And we even got into some strife at one point because me and a couple of mates were doing this band and we could pretty much just play Trivium like Light to Flies. We just played that one song over and over at band practice.
Yeah.
And in year 9, I think it was pretty cool.
I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah, we used to skip the hard parts, but we could play it. And we decided it'd be fun to trash the classroom that we had for the next period after lunch. So we went in there at lunch and tipped all the tables and one of the guys like tipped all the chalk out on the ground and stomped it all through the carpet and threw the Wikipedia things, you know, all the big books around, and we stacked the tables up in a big pyramid. And one of the guys took it too far and wrote some profanity on the whiteboard, dissing the teacher. And yeah, some fat bastard that was doing it with us dobbed us in, and the teachers were like, we know you guys all play in a band, but we can't have you, you know, trashing the classroom.
Young rock star mentality.
Yeah, they thought we were doing it because we're like rock stars or something. And like, so we told your parents that you're not allowed to have a band anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you're going to have a few weeks off from practice. Oh, that only made us more hungry for it. Like this metal thing, the teachers know about it. Like, what? They're scared of us because we're doing this. Like, fuck. And it's just like fuel on the fire for us. We're like, fuck yeah. So then we just started rocking up to school with our maroon maroon school clothes on. And then, like, you know, first period, just take them off. And like,
reveal the metal shirt
and
underneath.
you'd see your mate, like, yeah, there you go. And it'd be like, you'd have your Trivium or your Slipknot or your Machine fucking Head or something, and the teachers would be like, put your shirt back on. You'd be like, fuck the system. Yeah.
So
That's
was
where it
that
all started for me,
the early
anyway.
days of Severtone, or were there bands before that?
Well, as I think everyone has these little flingy bands, and I had a lot of those little covery bands and, you know, different groups of friends. A few friends trickled through to each band, but it wasn't until I was in high school and my bands were all just pissing on, doing nothing really. We never could get enough members because it was just such a small town down in Esperance. And I just caught wind of this industrial metal band that were advertising for a guitarist, and I was in year 10, I think, and their singer was still at school and he was in year 12, so they're all a lot older than me. But their drummer was quite young, actually, and that's how I kind of knew about it.
Yep.
So I went out there for the audition, and it happened to be Bryce Palmier, the singer of Severtone, and Sam McCleary, the first drummer of Severtone, and this other singer, Zach Andres, who's the singer in Sansu. So I went out there and met all these older people that I didn't know, and tried out with another friend who was trying out for bass at the same night, and rock up, and I take my jumper off, and I've got Trivium, the Crusade album cover T-shirt on. Bryce Palmier, the other guitarist, had the same shirt on. So I was just like, nailed it. Nailed it.
The place to be.
And anyway, I just butchered it, and they said no. They said, you're not good enough. So I left thinking, oh, fuck. And my mate got in on bass, so I was just fuming. He got in with a fucking Ashton bass, just a piece of shit bass, because he looked cooler. And I was like, oh, well, there we go. And maybe a month later, they're like, would you come back? You know, this other guy didn't work out for us. And so I come back and, you know, start learning their stuff, and we play our first show, and it's awful, and we're all standing there like stage plants and scared shitless, but played our first show. And our only show as 6 Feet Later, which was the band name. And then our singer, Zach Andres, left to go start another project. And me, Bryce, and Sam McCleary, the remaining guys, started Severtone as a three-piece.
Yep. In
maybe 2007 or 8. 2006, really, this was all probably happening. It was all pretty quick. It all happened. And yeah, we just as a three-piece, we wrote an EP, and then we got a few other mates in along the way. We had lots of different lineup changes, and it just, you know, like a small town, you just sort of find friends and encourage them to learn and play your stuff, and we had a lot of members like that coming and going. And we used to even do daring things like drive from Esperance to Perth for just a little show on a Sunday at HQ, Leaderville, and play in front of maybe, you know, 10 people and stuff like that, drive all our gear up. We even drove up for one gig that was inevitably cancelled, you know, hours before. So we're driven all the way up.
So you're probably on the road while it was getting cancelled.
Yeah.
And it was, so that was always a pain in the ass. And of course, there's no money in it. So we were just like, fuck it, let's move to Perth. So Bryce at that stage had 2 young kids, so it wasn't the easiest move. But we all moved up straight into Armidale. Me and Bryce shared a house there, and had our little studio. And the drummer didn't quite make the move. He moved up, but didn't really want to stay in. So we just got to writing and wrote the Nova Cenidium EP in this little Armidale house, and self-produced and recorded all of that.
Yep.
And did some auditions. Now that we're in the big smoke, we're thinking we might actually be able to do auditions and find some members. And the first guy to rock up was just our drummer that stayed with us till the end, and that was Chris Themistocleus, the Greek
Say it
goddess.
Say it again.
Chris Themistocleus, and I'm sure
Don't
he'll
say that
correct me
fast
on the
3 times,
pronunciation
eh?
there.
All right.
And he came in just black dahlia tats all over, just just a big boy. He just came in and just selected the hardest song, Smash Fuck, off the EP, and just nailed it. And we're just like, you're in, and we're on our way then. And we stayed as that 4-piece for a long time, up until I bumped into John, and our guitarist Bryce was struggling with doing the vocals and the guitar, because me and Bryce sort of did guitar and vocals and sort of split it, he doing more of them. And it just got too hard because on stage all of us are glued to a mic, even our bass player. So he decided he should just be the front man, so we advertised, and we actually pulled in a guy from this other band called Against the Tide, and they were like a sort of metalcore emo-y band, and their guitarist who wrote all their stuff, Jack Ferrier, was just right time, right place. He was just leaving that band, so he jumped on board. And
Yeah, I think that's when I saw you guys live for the first time. Actually, thinking about it later on, if you guys were playing with Empire's Laid Waste at one stage, I would have seen you back in the day.
yeah, I reckon that happened a couple of times.
Because, I mean, back then, I was good mates with Tom, the bass player. And every show they did, I mean, I even dragged you out to a few
Was that the one at the
Empire's
Civic?
Laid Waste shows.
Went to the
We had
Civic
one at
to
the
see
Civic,
them.
yeah. And so I reckon I would have seen you guys play back in the day. But I realised...
That would have been fun.
But then when I
That'd have
came
been
and
a
saw
funny
you
sight.
guys, I think that was the first time we'd met in person then at that gig too. And you apologised to me afterwards. You told me it was a real shit show. I was like, I thought you sounded fucking good.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's...
Back then, being tight was such a focus for Severtone. We would just practice twice a week, and we just wanted to be so tight, when really the sound quality of the live venues in Perth is so average that you could get up there and just about fall off the stage and still, come across as okay if you move around enough. So, we put a lot of effort into that.
I think your bass player moved around enough for everyone,
did.
didn't he?
He did.
He was very energetic on stage.
Yep. So we had Toby Thomas, and I convinced him to move to Perth. Like, he was kind of back and forth between Perth and Esperance, but he happened to be living in Esperance, and I went back down there for Christmas break and was like, we need a bass player kind of thing. Move up and jump on board. We got a gig next week. And so he moved up and learnt the set and played the gig all in like a fortnight. So, yeah, just nailed it. And to just rub salt into the wound, he took all his clothes off except his jocks and played his first show like that. At the Swan Lounge in Freo.
Jeez.
If you know the venue, you know how fucking horrible it is. And so he's in his jocks, and some old AC/DC fan barfly is sitting at the bar, and he comes up to the front of stage and takes all his clothes off, even his jocks.
Oh,
And so we took a photo of him, and he's holding his junk out the front of the Swan Lounge, and we posted it on our Facebook. So if you dig through some early Severtone photos on Facebook, you'll find that said, "Old man," and he was quoted saying, "You influenced me
Influenced me to take my clothes off and probably get
to
a,
sexually harass bar staff." Severtone did have a song called Smash Fuck, so
I remember that song. I think that's the song you sent me.
it was very thrashy.
Yeah, it was a good song.
It's a racist joke, yeah. It was written in Armidale, where we had a lot of grief.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I wonder how far away you were living from me, because I was in Armidale.
I was right near the Sherwood station, or the Shepparton station, whatever that one's called. The last one before the Armidale station.
No, okay, I was near the Hayes shopping centre.
Yeah.
Or Haynes.
You'd hear the odd explosion and you'd be like, oh, there goes another Breaking Bad wannabe. All the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's probably what's happening in Spearwood at the moment. I got some
Jeez.
fires down there.
So you're from Esperance. I mean, me and Jane, when we were playing in bands in our earlier days, we were up in Northam.
Yeah.
And I assume it'd be a similar sort of comparison in the towns. There's not a lot of musos in town. Sort of everyone that's playing in a band has played in a band with everyone else, sort of thing. Cause
Everyone's playing 30 different genres and in
Yeah.
2 different bands and trying to
Yeah.
cross everything over, and it's a fucking mess.
Yeah, yeah.
So it
it's-
must have been a relief.
the
for you
struggle
moving
is
to
real.
Perth.
Yeah, and it was eye-opening. We had this strange idea that would come up here and everyone would just be like, "You, welcome aboard, boys. Get amongst it." because we were just like, thought we were like the most passionate people about metal and we just wanted more people like that. And we were deflated very fucking quickly getting to Perth. It was quite a brick wall getting involved in gigs early on. No one knew you. It was really hard to hustle into gigs. So we put our own shows on and put bands on it from the scene to try and get our foot in the door. And it wasn't until Josh Pierre from Metal for Fishes, he was a promotion company, and he noticed us and started putting us on a lot of his shows. And he did a lot of mosh for cures, like raising money for cancer and stuff like that. And he did a lot of great stuff for the metal scene back in the early days of Severtone. And he was right behind us. That really got us going.
Is Perth still really clicky like that? Like in terms of if there's a new metal band that's coming into town from a smaller town from somewhere else, and they've just moved in, is it the newer bands find it tough to get into gigs still? Like, is it as hard as when you
I'm not sure these days, but I think it's more just the ignorance. I don't think people really pay much attention to what's going on. So when a band comes from another, you know, maybe out of town, it's more just they go unnoticed because it's the same few bands usually play the shows around Perth. And it can get stagnant, but yeah, I think there's always opportunities. There's always a few people out there fighting the good fight for the up-and-comers.
Yeah. I hate clicky shit like that. If there's something new happening and someone wants to try and get into it, the people who have like, who are sort of in the upper echelon of the local Perth bands, I suppose, could make it very difficult for the new bands to get back into it. But then if they look back and remember, fuck, it was actually really hard when I was in their position, and I wish someone gave us a little break or a little something.
Yeah.
Then that might actually make the Perth scene a little bit better.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of bands aren't doing it like intentionally. It's just there's just a lot of good bands in Perth at the moment creating, you know, just like a void of who's getting a lot of the support shows.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone's hungry for, obviously. But it's always good to chat to bands and stuff. Everyone's always happy to chat, and backstage it's always like everyone's always good camaraderie.
Seemed like last year, 2019 was a pretty busy year for bands in Perth. Because not only was it like local, there seemed to be more local gigs, but there actually seemed to be a heck of a lot more international gigs coming into town as well. Like
That's right, yeah.
Like 2018, I think, the only bands I saw was Cradle of Filth and Sepultura. And then last year, Cradle of Filth came back down. There was Static X, there was Machine Head in town. Metallica and Slipknot was supposed to be in town.
And Opeth and
meant to be here.
We're meant to be here, and old mate had a beer, so that didn't happen. But it just seemed like last year was a much busier year.
Yeah, well, I hope this year's going to be even busier. Like, some friends in other bands and that. From what I hear, everyone's just gearing up for a big 2020 in the local scene. Yeah. So it's going to be feisty. It's going to be great. Perth's going to come out swinging, I reckon.
Beautiful.
That'll be good because it's good to get out to gigs. I don't get to get out that often anymore, especially living an hour and a half away from Perth.
Yeah, you got to be committed.
With the kids and that as well. That's why it's a good opportunity to catch up with Jane as well. Come down this way and go see a band. But the last band really was Nucleust that we went and saw.
Oh, what show was that again?
Well,
that was the
Pantera.
Pantera
tribute was really good, but then I think before that was you guys.
Yeah, EP launch.
Yep. It was good to get that out. That we were sitting on that for too long. We were roosting like a fucking chicken on that one.
So how'd the writing process go with that? Was most of the stuff written before you came into the band?
Yeah, so when I joined, I heard about them looking for a vocalist through a friend of mine in Tempest Rising, because Max, the guitarist of Nucleust, sent out a few messages. And they were looking for a bass player, and I expressed interest, and they sent me the music. I was more interested in hearing what the fuck they were doing, because I didn't really have any intention of learning an instrument for a metal band that I wasn't in charge of. So I got the music, and I was just like, fuck, this is different. This is better. Because I had no intention of joining because I really hated the vocals.
Well, I know at the time as well, you were looking for members for Severtone.
Yes. So I was really just going undercover to look for members. I was thinking if he's looking for someone, maybe he flushes someone. I was almost going to pick up his scraps. Whoever you don't want, Severtone will have. Because Severtone, as it was me, original guitarist Jack Ferrier, and then we had another guy from Gravemind, Avastira. Oh, no, wait. Averia. Oh, no. I've forgotten his band name, but his name's Kai, and he's a fucking legend. But he was playing for Severtone as well. And we were just writing, really. We never played live. And drummer Chris was getting back on board until he got a FIFO job. And all of a sudden, it all just got too hard. And it was at about that time when Max happened to message me back and said, I know you're interested in bass, but now we're looking for a vocalist if you know anyone. And I was just like, send me the stuff. I'll do an audition right now.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the only thing holding me back from jumping on board was I didn't really like their vocalist.
Yeah.
Because he's a great vocalist and he has the stamina of a fucking fish, right? Like he can just scream forever without breathing. I don't know how he does it. But it was just not really it was a lot more metal, a lot more heavier than I wanted. I was sort of, it wasn't really my genre.
Yep.
So I was like, nah, it's not really my thing. But then when I found they were looking for a new vocalist, I was like, awesome. What's this guy stepping down for? This is ridiculous. I'll jump in. So I did the audition track, heard the songs for the first time, and just improvised some random patterns and sent them back to Max. And they were like, this is awesome. When do you want to meet? And I was like, cool. Wednesday or something. So, planned to meet at Wednesday at 5 o'clock at Max's house with the rest of the guys there. I think I got there at about 8:30, so I was about 2.5 hours late to the audition.
Good first impression, mate.
Yeah, so don't know what Max was thinking, really. A lot of red flags are going up.
Yep.
Especially after I sort of ghosted him a bit on the bass player position. And then, I had a good chat with him. I was just like, oh, wow, these guys are really chill. And for once, I don't think I'll have to be in a band where I'm the one cracking the whip on everyone and being called the drill sergeant and, oh, fuck, watch out, here's fucking Jayden, such a Jew. Oh, he's so stingy, because I'm the drill sergeant in every band I've been in for some reason.
When it's your band, you have to be, mate.
But it sucks the fun out of it,
You were like that with us because
I was like that.
I just went along with whatever, but there was a few other people who just didn't want to go along with the plan. They sort of fucked around a bit.
Well, that's the thing. You got to think every time we're getting to the point where we're like, all right, we're going to break out of this small town and go get a gig in Perth.
Yeah.
Someone will go, oh shit, and they'd quit.
Yeah.
Because then it would be
It's a big jump.
Pressure.
Big jump, yeah.
So we never actually got to gig in Perth back in our day. I say back in our day like it was back in my day.
It is back in our day.
More day.
Frisbee.
It is back in our day because that was like when we were 19, 20, and I'm fucking 30. I'm 34 this year.
Which makes me, 33?
34. Yeah, so back in our day, shit was a lot more difficult.
And you know what the worst thing is now? Facebook's starting to remind us how old we are, going, look at this memory from 8 years ago, and you're like, eight
Actually,
years
I saw
ago.
that yesterday.
Look at my luscious face.
Your little recording setup.
Yeah, and I'm standing on my
Yeah,
bed.
you show me the little recording.
And I'm standing on my bed because all I had in this 2 by 3 meter room was my computer desk, which took up a whole wall, and then my bed about that far away from it.
Yeah.
So
Looked like you were standing up in like the camera.
Yeah,
I was up in the corner.
Because
like
I couldn't get it all in the frame because it's such a small room, and that fucking room didn't even have a door on it. And I'm across the hallway from our singer and wife, and then 3 kids up the. So it was pretty crazy. But yeah, Novus and Indium was born out of that house, and I was listening to a lot of Paramore.
Cool.
She's a lovely looking
Let
girl.
that hang there.
I don't mind it, but that's
Yeah.
I don't know. It just sounds
It
very
was-
repetitive to me.
It was something Matt Heafy had said, and he said, yeah, when I was writing The Ascendancy, I was listening to a lot of Kelly Clarkson, and I thought,
Yeah.
what the fuck's he doing that for? And he reckons it just gave him a fresh perspective on music instead of, so that other trends of the present weren't sort of influencing how he wrote. He was just
And
sort
it's
of,
surprising because, in my opinion, that's their best album. And to think that it came from Kelly Clarkson is
it's
a bit
very
of a
funny.
fucking worry, really.
Influenced by, or
No.
Yeah.
some
And,
sort of influence by Kelly Clarkson.
you know, like Paramore, like Brick Bob, Boring Brick, and that, just the chemistry of the drummer and the guitarist, I think they're brothers, and they left like pretty, a fair few albums ago, which is why they've become quite commercial. But just his snare work was so interesting, and yeah, I really liked it.
Yep.
It was more about that, and it just, that helped me write a fair bit of stuff, along with the a lot of pentatonics and stuff like that, boring music theory tricks.
So how often do you guys in Nucleust jam? Because you were tight as fuck on stage.
Well, we jam into a click, like a lot of bands now do. So we're playing to a backing track. So we've got like our orchestral and synthy type things happening in our backing tracks. So that really forces us to be bang on. So,
Yep.
we're always at temp, and we're always, this.
It'd be pretty obvious if you were to fuck up.
if we fucked up, you'd know because we'd stop and start again. Because the click ain't
Hang on,
the
guys.
click ain't going to slow down for us.
Press play.
Yeah. And the in-ear rig, it presents its own problems in the new era. It's just another big head fuck.
So do you have your own setup for your in-ears, or do you have to rely on front of house, or do you have your own sound guy?
We bring our own sound guy, Scotty, along. And he's actually the resident guy to amps usually now anyway. So go pester him for some free beers because he's always going to give them out if you do that. Just pester him and he will. And so he comes along to every show because he knows that in-ear rig and the stresses of gigs is just the last thing you want to do is fuck around with all this technical shit. So we bring him to all our gigs and he makes sure that's all right. But our in-ears are all pre-mixed and set. So we walk on stage and I put my ears in and theoretically we could start playing and you guys would be just in silence out the front, but we would think we're killing it. And it could just be dead quiet out the front because we are almost in our own little bubble.
Yep.
So we get all the feeds from our instruments into our ears before it even hits the front of house. So we're independent. So then Scotty can just focus on the front of house and not worry about, could I have an extra few dB in my ears? Can't hear me guitar. Like all that little shit that you see amateur bands doing. Like, can I have more wedge, more guitar? And then after every song, drummers, I can't hear me fucking bass guitar in me buddy.
That reminds me of something a band up in Northern would have used to do because they thought they were rock stars.
Yeah, and the sound guys usually just like, fuck
we're
you.
not gonna mention.
No, we're not going to mention names, but there was a band up there. They used to think they were just a little bit too big for their boots.
You got to be nice to the sound guys; they'll make your life hell.
Oh no, well these guys made everyone's life hell. But
Your mate.
Your mate.
He's alright.
He's alright.
Our guitar, I'd say he's alright. I like the bloke. Never had an issue with him. But yeah, he's other member in their band. We won't go into that one.
Nah. Yeah.
But
But I dodged your question about the Nucleust EP, right? So I got totally distracted. And I said to these boys before I agreed to do this that I can talk underwater. I can talk my way out of a room with no doors. So I'm the best first guest to have on because
let's just hope everything's still recording then.
you guys could walk away and I wouldn't stop.
Yeah, I think everything is still cracking, hopefully.
So yeah, I was asking if the iEmotion EP was already written before you got there because
It was. I can't take any credit. No.
You've recently released the single Eclipse.
Yeah, so we wrote Eclipse as soon as we caught wind that we were going to play with Make Them Suffer for their Badlands Christmas show. So we're like, well, how can we take advantage of this good opportunity that we've got here? Because we knew that it was a good lineup and we knew that we had a good slot and it'd be well promoted and good time of year. And we just thought this would be perfect if we could release a song. We'd have a bit of attention on us. So we had a 2-week window. So we just wrote and recorded it in about 10 days with the help of Nick from Make Them Suffer, who's helping produce a lot of the electronic elements and helping us with structure and stuff because we are trying to get away from the more proggy 10-minute songs with non-repetitive riffs. And he really helps us in that department a lot. So big team effort. We had all the boys on board and we smashed it out in about a couple of weeks and had it mixed by Temps here in Perth, Matt Templeman. He did just a slamming job. We heard it first in Max's little soccer mum car and it just about fucking blew the windows out that low end. He's a low end fucking magician, that Matt Templeman. And so we're like, fuck yeah. And then we sent it off to get mastered over east to our secret little weapon over there. And I'm sure you'll see it in the credits. But yeah, Lance, he's a bloody little wizard too. And yeah, we just smashed it out without any prior knowledge of it coming out. We just released it the day before the MTS show without any warning. Just there's a single. And and it was a bit of an experiment because we didn't put any money into promoting it. And nor did we hype it up or make anyone aware that it was coming.
Yeah, because I remember you'd mention it to me behind the scenes in a way. And then you're like, yeah, for the gig. And then when you're releasing it, I think it was an hour or so before you released it, I just slipped it in there and I heard it and I was like, that's fucking sick. Why wasn't this on the album? It
was very ambitious for us because it's really stripped back. And, as a guitarist from a really proggy background, very... and Max being really skillful on the guitar, like to step back and do some real simple stuff. It takes a lot of balls because you just kind of, you're setting your ego aside and just going, what's going to work best for the song as opposed to how I can show off. And we took that approach for the whole song and it's very different for us, but we're hoping to go more into that direction and keep going that direction while staying sort of credible to our sort of original sound.
Yep.
but yeah, pushing it a lot more in that direction. And yeah, an inside scoop on that song, which is interesting. We actually had a secret guest vocalist do some vocals in there, and no one's picked up on it, and no one knows about it because it was meant to be a bit of a surprise.
Heard it here first, folks.
So you heard it here first, and Max has been getting all the credit. You see, so he loves that, but we're going to blow it out of the water now. But my mate Paulo Gonzalez from Triangle Fight hit us up with some killer melodic vibes for that chorus. And it was a 5-part harmony, and it's just, if you could hear the stems, it would put you to sleep. It's brilliant. But yeah, he's the guest vocalist doing all the clean stuff. Except in the bridge, that's still Max, but for the chorus. So yeah.
You're going to piss anyone off by telling us that, are you?
Oh, a few people, yeah, but makes it interesting, eh?
It does, very.
Yeah, and you might see Paulo on the show. You never know.
Maybe.
Well, I'm hoping that this show will turn into a long-term gig.
Who cares if no one listens or watches? We can still do it. It's
Well,
still
exactly.
long
I mean, it's what we do anyway.
I can
without a
talk all day.
microphone.
Yeah, this is all we do when he comes down or I head up to Northam. Is we just have a few drinks. Usually we're not drinking now, but we just sit down and just talk shit and reminisce and talk about music and what's been happening in the world of music and movies and everything. And then
Even do the same thing playing Blackout. We should be listening
Yeah.
for footsteps and gunshots, but we're too busy talking shit about
Gaming.
whatever latest music we've heard or whatever else. And
gaming online turns into just a podcast. Really, we don't
pretty
record.
much without a
So
camera.
It kind of just makes sense for us to do this, and then yeah, had a few people say we should do it, so why not?
Hit me
I
up
think
for the video game edition.
Yeah.
And I'll come in and we can all play and talk shit.
we should. We should.
But I don't know how to play very well, so you guys can just be my bodyguards or something.
I'm not great. John's the superstar when we fucking have a game, but he'll get 2 kills and I'll get none, so it's alright.
I hadn't played it in a while. My young bloke likes to touch me shit and shoved some chewed up paper in my PlayStation.
Lovely.
So now I can't play and I was spewing. So when I got a chance to play, plugged in and I had a game with Jane and I was spewing because I was like, fuck, I only got 6 kills the first game. And he's like, 6 kills? That's fucking good.
Yeah, that's good. That's a high point for me.
But
Yeah.
I couldn't aim for shit, you know. I suppose it comes out similar sort of thing
But
with
he
music.
sits-
You know, you don't use it, you lose it.
He
Yeah.
sits half a metre away from the TV whenever he's doing anything because he's blind anyway.
Oh yeah, my eyesight's as good as
So
my hearing.
he'll
It's all
have a
fast.
50-inch TV in front of him and he's like that far off it.
I get the
3D.
kills.
Yeah.
Who needs a wrap screen? You just sit that close to the 50-inch.
So
almost-
you get into a bit of gaming then, do you? A few hobbies outside of music?
Yeah. Besides nerding out with my camera, I love strategy games, like, you know, Age of Empires type strategy based building games.
There's not enough games like that anymore.
Dawn of War for me is a vice that I indulge regularly. Dawn of War is like a 40k universe Age of Empires type strategy game. They have 3 of them out, but the first one is just brilliant. And they bring out expansions and you can have huge wars and
Yep.
it's great.
Is that on computer or?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have to check that one out because I love the Age of Empires series.
Yeah. And this is
But-
like a spacey one, so you have squads of troops and
Yep.
tanks and stuff, and I literally sit there and play it for like 4 hours straight sometimes, like the one base or the one build.
That was the
Nerd out
problem with
big
playing
time.
gaming. It was taking away too much time from my guitar playing.
Yeah, I haven't played guitar in a long time. Now that I've been doing vocals in a band, I haven't felt obliged to play. So,
Yep.
I have I couldn't really play much these days.
Get it back if you start anyway. It'll
Yeah.
come back pretty quick.
Yeah, I'd have to get into a routine again,
Yeah.
bring it back, which I'm trying to do because me and Max sort of want to partner up and do a bit of writing
Yep.
for the new stuff. Because
That'd be interesting.
yeah,
I'll be keen to
I
hear
don't
some
know
of
if I
that.
can bring much to the table because I'm really a metal player, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but the mix of both of you seeing what you've got, you never
It'd
know
be
what you're going
interesting.
to come out with.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to sound fucking good either way.
Yeah, we're going to actually just try and stick to the singles for now.
Yep.
And do away with EPs and, albums because, we just want to sort of slowly release music, and if we get 10 singles that are out, we'll just compile it on a CD and call it an album.
Everything being digital these days too.
Yeah. And we found that on the EP, only one song really picked up in the algorithms on the streaming platforms, and the other, so it was almost like the EP titled I Emotion has one song on it called I Emotion, and that song got a big push on all the streaming platforms and did really well. But then the 4 songs either side of that were almost just a vessel to help that song go along because
Well, you
they
also
didn't
released
really.
the film clip for iMotion
Yeah,
as well,
and
didn't you?
and the clip made it get a lot more attention. And yeah, we just kind of felt we should have released, instead of an EP, we probably should have released one by one because the other songs didn't get the attention they deserved. But we're continuing to push them, play them live. But
Yep.
you know what, the iMotion took the spotlight, and we kind of thought, damn, we should have released maybe say another song like Walls of Glass off the EP nowish. But
While you mentioned that song, has that would that be anything to do with the breakup? That sort of song? It's coming across as very
Walls of Glass or iMotion.
fuck you and your friends. And
Oh, well, Walls of Glass is more just a spiteful song. It's not really directed at anyone, but it's more to do with just everyone has one of those friends that just puts too much work into their social online presence. And I mean, I can't be hypocritical here because I obviously try to do the same for the band's sake, but you know, just like the glam girls, they take a lot of selfies. They're always taking photos of their food, like
selfie models and Instagram.
Yeah.
models.
and they think
Influencers.
that they get the 1,000 likes and think, oh, 1,000 of my friends liked this, and it's more just like pull your head out your ass and
Yep.
you know, get off your phone kind of thing.
That's why I stay away a lot from social media. I'm not on it as much as I should be. And now, once we start doing this, I'm going to sort of need to step up my social media game.
We'll both have to have access to all that sort of shit. But I don't use social media. I've got to because of work through like Facebook and Instagram. But in terms of me posting like stuff from personal, I don't touch it. I barely even open it and scroll through it these days because there's just so much crap on there.
Yeah, I try to just post and get off it and just try and grow awareness for certain things the band's doing, really. It's just like I technically don't really even see my personal accounts as personal accounts. It's really just a billboard for Nucleust.
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe my photography business.
Yeah. I think the big thing now is, well, for me anyway, YouTube.
YouTube's really
Like,
massive now. Yeah.
If
very
anyone's going to
addictive.
post anything, if you're going to try and get 100,000 followers on Instagram, why not just do like short minute videos and just tell people what you're doing and show people what you're doing and start a YouTube
Like little
account?
updates, yeah.
Little update, because I'll often be scrolling, or not scrolling, I get my phone, I'm like, fuck, I'm bored. I'm just going to scroll through something.
Yeah.
And I'll open up my little social media folder, and then there's like Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and that shit. And I'd close and just go to the video app, which has got all the YouTube and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And I just go to YouTube and scroll through, and I'll just watch videos for people who actually make content that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And I do follow these people on Instagram, but I can read about what they're going to say, like about a shoe. But I can go and watch a 5-minute video and get someone's like opinion or whatever it is about, whether it's about instruments or whatever you're into. Like I prefer scrolling through YouTube and finding shit to watch. rather
And
than
how good is the algorithm?
rather than
YouTube
watching,
knows me better than I know myself.
You Google something, you go into YouTube and it'll be there.
Yeah. You're
So-
scrolling through and you're like, you know, I didn't think I wanted to learn about why the grass is green, but fuck, I'm
Yeah.
understand that.
That's what I said to John last night. This is the dumb shit I watch. We're going through YouTube on the laptop.
Yeah.
And in my recommended feed, it's like how highlighted markers are made. 'Cause
Yeah,
I've watched
yeah,
a bunch
same.
from that series, and it's like, okay, I don't want to watch that. But
Well, a lot of the random stuff I find on YouTube, I usually send a link to both you guys.
yeah,
But some of it, you know, you'll be like, oh yeah, and then you'll send me something back, and same with you. Well, like that one I sent you the other day, you're like, oh yeah, I heard that years ago. I looked at the video; it's 9 years old, but it only just got recommended in my
what
feed,
was
and I
that?
was
It
like,
was something. Like I can't remember what it was.
Richard Cheese, I
Oh,
think it was.
yeah, Richard
the,
Cheese is,
People equal
God.
shit,
Yeah.
Slipknot thing.
Yeah. He done like toxicity back in the
People
day.
equal shit.
Or something
He
like
does some great ones. Yeah. You can put that on at work and just feel like you're back in
that. It's like
olden
lounge
times.
music and the heavy metal.
Yeah.
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 He did a couple of Disturbed songs, Down with the Sickness, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he goes, what?
Yeah, I saw that one there too.
Hell, elevator
Fuck, that was
music.
Man.
Yeah. Well, so what's next, mate?
Anything you want to talk about,
Whatever you
mate?
want to talk
Free
about.
platform.
Whoa.
He's already asked all the questions. We're just now having a chat and saying g'day.
Good. Good. Because I can't talk about myself much.
Oh,
time, but
hang
I
on.
don't
He
know.
can talk underwater,
Yeah,
but now he's
I'm
stuck.
running. Now
You're
I'm
out of questions,
floundering.
I'm
He's
fucked, guys.
I'm
he's
floundering underwater.
He's talked out. He found the door.
So what are a few apart from Nucleus, obviously, what are a few upcoming metal bands we should be keeping our eyes and ears out for?
Locally, well, I got to shout out all my mates. Really, like But I feel like bands like Tempest Rising have always been hustling hard in that sort of more traditional metal with a bit of a new metal tinge in times, just ripping guitar solos. So that's just great.
Yeah, we saw the guitarist up close at that Pantera tribute.
Yeah.
He fucking shreds.
Yeah, he's devoted his life to that instrument. It shows. He's a guitarist through and through. Yeah.
No, I was very impressed by his skill level.
Yeah, he's up there, definitely. And then like the guys in I Created a Monster have released a really, really good EP. Like, and it's almost reminiscent of old Valamea in a way, like proggy. The vocals are like really dynamic, and the songs are really like complex and really, really underrated EP that didn't get enough attention when that dropped. Spotify stinged them.
Yeah, because they've opened for you guys a couple of times when I've seen yous.
Yeah.
They've been there with you.
Do you guys push a lot on Spotify?
We try to push Spotify mainly because we seem to get a better reception on there.
Yeah.
But for Eclipse, our distribution thing fucked us over and uploaded it to Apple like, I know, a week later. So everyone's sort of like, why is it Spotify only? And we're like, because it's a Spotify exclusive. But that was just an excuse because TuneCore fucked us.
What about, isn't that DistroKid old mate on YouTube?
Now a word from our sponsor, DistroKid.
Yeah,
no,
we're not
sponsored by DistroKid.
Isn't that what he's always bashing on about? You set it to upload and it just does it for you.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
and
essentially.
if you type in the code, you get a 7% discount off the $20 yearly fee and
From a
fucking
certain
whatever
drummer on
else.
YouTube.
And
So you get a few different ones. Yeah, there's a few different good companies that do it. And yeah.
without.
Yeah, no, because I hate Spotify. I never use it. So
I know,
if
right?
anything releases to Spotify first, I'll just wait till it gets to the Google
Me
Play
too.
Music. I don't use iTunes.
I'm
or
Apple.
anything.
I'm
Yeah,
all on
well,
Apple Music myself,
I'm
but
Google, but
I pay for Apple Music and I don't pay for anything else. So I guess that's why I use it.
well, I'm the same. I pay for me and the missus to use Google Music, and I gave you a login for it, so you better be using it. But
Oh, yeah, mate. I'm the kind of guy that I've still got a rack of CDs.
yeah, I got.
But yet,
Yeah,
since
I
Jane
still-
put me onto this Google Play, I find myself now just fucking chuck it on the phone.
Yeah, if I'm going to
You know,
buy
like-
anything now, something physical media for music, I get records. So if you
Yeah.
guys are releasing vinyls, take them to the shows, and I'm the idiot who's going to sit there and buy them.
Yeah. We've
But
been thinking about it
with
because that's had a resurgence.
with the apps and everything, everyone's all about Spotify, but that pisses me off. It's so hard to use because it fucks up your playlist all the time.
Yeah. And
And
I
then,
like to just go play that album, please.
Yeah,
And if you
that's-
don't pay for it, you have to just shuffle an artist.
Yeah, yeah.
So you go to listen to Machine Head, you hit play, and a Trivium song will play.
Yeah.
Or I send you a link to say our new single,
Yeah.
and you go, well, I'll have a listen, hit the play and walk away. Next thing fucking,
Something else comes on.
you know, some bloody random band starts playing and you think that's our song for a second.
Yeah.
You can't link people properly. It's
Yeah.
I found YouTube does that at times. You'll say for example, I type in like you're saying, like type in a Trivium mix. Machine Head will come on there, Arch Enemy, fucking all sorts. It's
Yeah,
like, I just want
they're
Trivium.
videos, and it's like something that people search for in conjunction with that.
Yeah.
But with Google Music,
Suggested.
if I type in a band name, I can just listen to a song or a album.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
like
and
about it
nothing
too.
else comes into it.
And
That's
making
what
my
you
own
want.
playlist on it as well. I've been
Yeah.
starting to get
Yeah.
into that.
Well, that's how we heard the new Slipknot song, because the Eastern States were like 2 hours ahead of us
Yeah.
at the time. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and he sent me a text, "Oh, the new Slipknot album's
I
out."
think we just got
So-
off Call of Duty,
Yeah, I think
and we're
we
going
had.
to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
And I looked at the phone, and I was like,
Fuck.
10:30. Fuck, that means it's past midnight over east.
Yeah,
Let's
so-
have a look.
Yeah,
And looking on it, I was like, oh, fuck.
but
Straight away, dude,
the way
check out
that
the new Slipknot.
the entire album didn't drop at the same time. It was like every 10 minutes another song would
Yeah,
come out.
that
Would
was
be
Wow,
uploaded.
interesting.
So I was making a playlist in the order of the songs as they went, so we could listen to the whole album.
And I
And
think
then
by
like
the time you'd made the
by the
playlist,
time I
they
made
dropped
out
the whole fucking album.
the whole fucking thing was there anyway. But yeah, we were talking about that like 11 until like maybe 11:30 midnight-ish. We were talking
Oh,
back
even
and forth
past
about
that, yeah.
songs.
Have you heard the
tracks.
new Slipknot album?
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
get into Slipknot much?
Yeah, I'm a huge diehard. I got into Slipknot before I even started trying to play guitar.
So what do you think of the new album? Because me and Gene have talked about this before, but when they were dropping the singles leading up to the album, and you know you hear Corey going on about, oh yeah, it's Iowa level heavy, fucking rah rah, and then when they're bringing them out, it's like this is like
Like
all
Unsainted
hope is
and
gone, fucking
Oh yeah,
type
well,
Yeah.
shit, you know,
well,
like,
Corey was like, "Oh, it's back in the Iowa days heavy," and then Jim's like, "Fuck, if I'm making Iowa type music, then I've done something wrong." That was
and
paraphrasing.
I
That
love
was
the way
exactly
that Jim
word for
just is
word,
happy
but
to shoot Corey down. So
yeah, that was like they were contradicting each other. But when the music was coming out, like I wasn't 100% on it, and then when I actually listened to the entire album, everything just flowed really well except for one song, which I won't say. But everything else was
hang
really
on.
good.
Can
on
you
that.
pick the song? There's one song on that album that me and Gene both agree should not fucking be there. Does not suit.
They could have released, if it's something meaningful to someone in the band, they could have definitely put it like as a bonus track or a hidden track or right at the end of the album, but it shouldn't be where it's be. To us, anyway.
I don't know. I mean, the commercial song, Unsainted, was pretty pop commercial. I thought that one I liked it, but it wasn't like
it grew on me
Slipknot.
with the album.
Yeah.
When it first came out,
Unexpected.
I fucking
That's
hated
what I'm
it.
saying. Like as I listened to the album, like cover to cover, all the songs they released, like singles leading up to it, sort of kind of ran together a little bit better. I think that's the reason I like it, because the entire album pretty much works.
Yeah.
I won't buy an album if there's one song in there.
Well, let's put it this way: we're talking about the song called "My Pain," and that's one that, like I said, I still do the CDs, and every time that comes on in the car or the stereo, that one gets fucking skipped.
There's always a few filler tracks on the Slipknot albums where it's just noise.
Doesn't feel like a filler track though.
Yeah.
It's a full length.
I'd have to have another listen to
Like
it because
song.
I listen to the album on sort of shuffle.
Yeah.
So I've probably heard it, but I wouldn't put the name to the song
those
yet.
guys.
Yeah.
Shuffle.
Yeah.
Is there any
I'm a
albums
shuffle
coming out
player,
that you're
dude.
looking forward to?
Nah.
Like any bands?
Nah, I'm just like, I just live in the past, mate.
We're bad
Same.
with that.
Yeah.
don't
Everyone's
really
like, oh, you
care.
got to check this out. I'm like,
I haven't
good
had a
with what I
band
got.
excite me in like a decade,
yeah.
you know, because the hunger for metal is you know, sort of not as strong as it was when I was younger.
Yeah.
As far as finding that new band, because like, you know, it was.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know, just everything I hear doesn't sound authentic because I've heard a band like it already.
Yeah.
But when I was younger and I was just getting into metal, when I heard Trivium, they were just like, that blew my mind. When I heard Unearth, it just blew my mind. I heard All That Remains, I was like, fuck. And then I heard Killswitch, I'm just like, what? And you're like, Lamb of God, whoa, Machine Head.
Yeah.
And like all these older bands that would just, you know, if I hear anything else, I always just compare them to like my top 10 bands kind of, and none of them can displace one of them. I can just rotate. You know, like
We
Slipknot
both do
and-
the same with certain bands.
Yeah,
we're
well-
still listening to the same bands and same shit that we listen to when we're in a band when we're 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, I listen to the same like metal music that I've always listened to since I first discovered metal.
Yeah,
in
that's
that pocket
same.
of genre.
That-
And then even with like hip hop, if I'm listening to hip hop, I only listen to one era of hip hop. It might only be a few artists of that
90s
era.
hip-hop.
But I can't stand any of the new shit. Anything after 2000, it just went downhill for me. It's just
Yeah.
not what I expect from.
Yeah, it's different. I tend to listen to a lot of other genres now. Like I love more relaxed genres like pop punk, and after Severtone I did like a pop punk band for a little bit, and that was really fun. And it was kind of like Chunk No Captain Chunk, because we were playing drop A, which is, you know, like more of a 7-string tuning, but we're just doing it on 6 strings with really thick strings. It was like degent punk that we called Junk, and yeah, Bright City Giants was the name.
I remember
and
that.
I fumble around on lead guitar for them live, and that was good. I get into a lot more different genres now. I've been trying to get into rap because apparently it's really good for writing vocals. So I've been forcing myself.
I think
to listen to a bit of that.
you got to pick who you listen to, because there's a lot of crap out there that no one's writing their own music anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of ghost
a
writers
lot
and whatnot.
Yeah, see, like, it's no secret that I'm a massive Ice Cube fan.
Yeah.
and NWA. And I've got a bunch of his vinyls, and I've got playlists of him, of just his music, because he ranges from like that hardcore street, I suppose, Compton type stuff he was doing in the early days, and now if you listen to his new albums, they're a lot softer on the lyrics. Instead of being, I'm going to go like singing about or rapping about people shooting each other, it's more preventive. I look at it.
Yeah.
So that's like completely changed the way, but then just the way he puts the lyrics together makes you think at the same time. Not about the song in terms of trying to get deep and do reaction videos and all that sort of rubbish, but like just like, okay, so this is how he writes his music. So
Yeah.
I reckon Kelly Clarkson might be good for you.
Yeah.
Well, recommendation from
But
Matt Heafy.
In terms of if you're going to listen to anything, I would go back and listen to his first solo album,
Yeah.
America's Most Wanted. That's just a great album, because he does just... There's a track on there where he rips up fairy tales, children's fairy tales, like Little Boy Blue and Red Riding Hood, and
I'll have to listen to that.
that's a good little track to listen
Well,
to.
if you listen to rap, the 90s rap is what you got to go for, not this modern day bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I'm a huge rap fan. If I'm shit faced,
Snoop Dogg
I'll
coming
listen to a bit of, you know, Dre or Snoop, you know, fucking Eazy-E, that sort of shit. But it's not like I'll be like, oh, what am I going to listen to today? Oh, let's go chuck on some whatever. I'm not big in the rap. But when I hear the modern day rap, so you can see why everyone raves about, you know, the Tupacs and the Biggies and all that sort of shit compared to whatever they're trying to class as rap these days.
Yeah, everyone always likes the older stuff, don't they, in every genre.
Yeah.
It's weird like that.
But at the same time, for me, I was into the same metal bands that you were introduced to, like Iron Maiden and
Well, that was my
Sabbath.
start, Sabbath,
Yeah, I know.
Maiden,
So
Priest.
my
Yeah.
start into metal was Slipknot. So for me, when I'm old and I have kids and I'm talking about Slipknot, I'll know what your folks are on about in trying to introduce you into that sort of music. Be it there'll be something different by the time I have kids.
Like some Attack or some fucking poser shit.
Yeah, there'll be something out there. I'm like, that's rubbish. You need to listen to old metal, and old metal would be.
These guys could
new
play
metal.
their fucking sticks with strings on them. You know what those
Yeah.
fucking things are, kids? That's a guitar. What? That
Yeah,
doesn't look like a
exactly.
PlayStation remote. So it starts
The
playing.
way it's going too, by the time my kids are doing all that, everything will be written on computers. There won't
Yeah.
be some bloke who's spent years focusing his art on the guitar. It'll all be punched in the
Well,
computer.
It'll be
You're fucking good
expressionless.
to go.
Yeah.
The world would just be Skrillex. In
Yeah.
every genre, there'll be a pop Skrillex. There'll be Skrillex in dubstep. There'll be a rock Skrillex. There's going to be
Yeah.
a heavy metal Skrillex, and
It'll be like black and white. It'll just be
yes,
bland.
and auto tune will be everything.
Yeah. I can auto tune a fart better than some of those cunts.
Is that what that Cher used back in the 90s on her lyrics?
Yeah.
To make, yeah. So what I don't get is like people are writing metal and they're starting to use like, or just heavier songs and they're starting to use auto tune,
Yeah.
and it just always. Every time I hear it, it doesn't matter how hardcore that band comes across. It could be like Demure Girl or Behemoth who uses auto tune, and I'm instantly going to think 90s Cher.
Yeah.
Like this is their influence, and they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
come
wouldn't
on,
like
come
to
on.
think that Behemoth and Demir use
No, you know,
auto-tune, but who knows?
It's just that's the way it's going. Everyone seems to want to be using auto tune. Right?
Yeah, I know.
That
It's
stuff.
it's like Post Malone type thing. Like it's like a flavor they do. It's like an instrument. It's weird.
So Post Malone, does anyone else agree the bloke sounds like a fucking lamb?
Yeah.
It looks like a fucking
Sound
lamb.
like a lamb.
Lamb on sale.
There was a song I claimed ignorant for a long time, and kind of for good reason. I genuinely didn't know any of his songs, and when he came to Perth and he was doing interviews and all that sort of shit, everyone's going crazy for him. And I'm like, I don't even know any of his songs. And then I was in an Uber the other day, and the dude had the radio up on the big screen in the console, and it came up like who it was. So I'm like, oh, that's a Post Malone song. That's pretty bad. Like I'm glad I didn't know any of his songs.
He goes
because-
from so many genres. It's
Like,
hard to know when
wow.
it's him.
When
Oh.
everyone's spinning out, like, I recently saw everyone spin out that he was singing Walk by Pantera. It's like he was a metalhead from back in the day. He's got, like, I think he's got Ozzy Osbourne and Dimebag's face and shit tattooed on his knuckles.
Yeah.
Like, that's why everyone spun
He's
out when he
fucking
got Ozzy
dying.
on the
If you-
song as well.
If you can't make it in the metal or an actual rock band, no matter how like soft rock or heavy rock it is, just go to pop music because you can always auto tune it. It doesn't matter.
Scarlord used to be a hardcore singer,
It doesn't
screamer.
matter.
They all seem to come away from it.
So just follow the money, I suppose.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's definitely more money in that than what there is in
Like
any
even
other genre of music.
even
so.
some of the respected record labels like Sumerian. I really hope I didn't mix them up with another one, but like did that Dolly artist, that girl, pop star. It's like a metal label signed her. She's like some cute little YouTube
So
thing.
they basically
She does metal, but she's like
That's
a
where
little
the
pop
money
singer.
is these days, though, isn't it?
they're just raking in the cash.
Trying to. Yeah, it's definitely worth a look. It'll blow your
But
mind.
then you,
Yeah.
So bad.
you see other bands then, you know, like
So bad.
we're talking about people getting away from the screaming and going into other genres or whatever. But you
Yeah.
still see it in the game now, you know, like Lamb of God. Randy's seems to be trying to step away from the screaming.
Yeah.
I-
If he's going to do that, he needs to step away from the mic and just go join a fucking redneck hillbilly band and blow on a bloody alcohol bottle.
Isn't that what he's doing at the moment? He's got like a 10-piece thing he's got going on.
Yeah, some redneck
His
hillbilly
surf
shit.
band or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, and they just play.
But that's the thing, like, I
Play
can
a
understand
broomstick
in the
with a
way
string.
of they're not getting any younger. You know, his voice probably
Yeah.
ain't going to do it forever. But then you look at other people like, you still got Rob Halford out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
doing
he's
those.
not screaming. Bruce Dickinson's not screaming, but they're still out there.
They're still pushing it to the
They're
They're
still
doing the
absolute
vocals
max.
like they
They-
did back in the day.
They're consistent with how they started, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah.
But then you look at like Lamb of God, you say that like how the singer Rennie is stepping away from screaming, I suppose. I haven't listened to any of their new stuff. But then everyone was up in arms when the drummer left, and the drummer's like, I don't know, this might be wrong, but the articles and stuff that I read with interviews was like he was kind of over that. So rather than change the band and the music
Yeah.
that they're writing, he's like, I'm just going to step away.
But it was very
Enjoy Iron
mixed.
Maiden.
Well,
Because
that's a
we
different type of
talked
music
about that.
again, though, you know what I mean? It's different
weird, isn't it?
tempos. It's
Yeah.
not.
No, not Iron Maiden. My fucking god. Megadeth.
Megadeth, that's
Oh my
right.
god.
But
See, I see them as the same, right?
Even then, the stuff that he plays with Lamb of God is completely different to what he's playing with.
What a stitch up.
Megadeth.
But it was mixed reviews on the interviews and shit I saw. Some of them made it seem like he was kicked out the band.
Yeah.
Others made it seem like he was like, all right, I'm sick of playing the same shit. See you guys, I'm out.
It could have been both. They could have said, if you don't play them, see
You
you later.
never,
It
you're
could have
never
been
going to know
Iron
the
Maiden.
full truth behind it all.
That's right.
Let's talk about
It's
truth.
Slipknot conspiracies
that's
with Chris Fenn.
That's another show.
Oh,
We
yeah.
haven't got
Another-
time to go
another
into
podcast for
music
that one.
conspiracies.
That's another episode.
Oh, definitely, definitely. We can talk. Well, we have done multiple times, hours and hours on conspiracies and YouTube news.
So you mentioned before about Machine Head. What's your view on the whole everyone leaving Rob Flynn situation?
Sounds like he's been a dickhead, so I don't blame anyone.
It sounds like he might have a bit of an ego trip going on.
Yeah, like he's been mouthing off on social medias and stuff, and I think he's been a fucking dick.
It's kind of weird. He came over to Perth and played.
Yeah, that evening with Machine Head, that was a fucking good gig too.
Yeah. Not only did our mate leave us at the gig, when he got back to the States, his band left him.
Wow.
Well, apparently they agreed to do the final tour though. But
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
fin-
the
they
good
finished
thing
up
though
the
about
dates,
them
but-
quitting is now he's got the other boys back in.
Didn't one of them leave, or one of them was looking to leave, or was that a rumor? I read
Not
something
sure.
or heard something somewhere.
But the one thing we look forward to is they should gig Australia again.
I don't think they will.
You don't reckon?
No.
He was
They
even
better
dissing
fucking cash into
fans
it.
on his social media.
Even if they do, it won't be anytime soon, because they'll hit the States. They'll go to Europe. They'll probably do some more States shows.
Yeah, but they should be back
They'll
at some
go-
stage.
They'll go to France.
Hopefully one day Slipknot Metallica will come back.
Yeah, Slipknot
that
should have
cancelled fucking
Slipknot
gig.
should have just come through and done those dates. They were booked for it and just done a smaller venue.
Well, that's what I thought. I can understand, like that they're not going to sell out the same venue,
Yeah, but they could.
but they
they've
could
got
have
the time
organised a
booked.
separate
The
venue.
promotion was
They
there.
could have gone and done Perth Arena, because fucking what's that band's name?
Well, I doubt Metallica
Josh-
had time to cancel and get refunded, so the night would have still been probably had to be paid for.
What's
So Slipknot should have
what's
just
that
jumped
dude's
in.
name of that band that I can't think of? Josh Holm or something
Queens
like
of
that.
Stone Age.
Queens of Stone Age.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went and saw them with a mate, and I think Slipknot would have drawn more. Well, could have filled that arena, and they did pretty well for
they
themselves.
used to always pack out the Robinson Pavilion.
Yeah,
When they used to
Yeah.
come back in the day all the time, we fucking squashed
just a
in
Slipknot
there.
show and just get a couple of local bands, or
Yeah.
have someone attached to come over and play. Would have been awesome, but
Yeah, they could have brought a couple of like little smaller bands with them. Would have been excellent.
yeah.
What a fucker! And refunding your tickets and cancelling all of that, eh?
Who would have been good would have been that
Yeah.
Kiwi, those young kids from New Zealand.
Alien Weaponry.
Weaponry. Yeah, have you seen those guys?
Nah,
You haven't heard of those guys?
nah.
They're
They're
one
like,
to look into, mate. They're
I
fucking
think the
pretty
bass
good.
player, I don't even think he's 18. If you are, cool, have a beer. But when they gigged here, I think it was only the drummer who could actually drink,
Wow.
because they weren't even of age, and they
Young'uns.
gigged here.
Because I think he was 18 or 19. His brother was the
Yeah.
guitarist and singer. He was only 17 or something. And
Yeah,
well, the bass player
he left to go
had
back
to
to
go
school.
back from tour to go
Yeah,
school. Yeah, from tour back to school.
school or back to tour. But
School and back to Terrified to school.
he's back with them. But as soon as they finished up here, they went back to New Zealand, done a couple of shows, and they were in the States, and they were just getting into the festivals,
Right.
and they were just getting up on the slots.
Hustling.
Like,
Yeah, I'll have to look into
just
them.
doing it.
They sing a lot of their songs, not all of their songs, but quite a few of their songs in like the native Maori tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, I reckon I've seen the music video for it.
Yeah,
They've got a few different videos, yeah. But yeah, if you've seen
but no,
it,
they're one to look out for, mate. If you're looking for some new tunes, because like
Yeah.
we were talking about earlier, we all listen to the same shit we used to. I
We
find
need
it
to
hard
branch
finding
out.
new bands, but I think you probably introduced me to them.
yeah, big
And
guy.
I got a
One of my mates hooked me up at the gym with that, and then I
yeah,
sent
you
you the
passed on
name
me,
of
and
the
I got a
song.
real old school Sepultura vibe. I think it was more the tribal type thing in it all.
yeah.
I
It
know the song
reminded me a
you're
lot of
talking about,
early
yeah.
Sepultura. And
Well, when Guy told me about it, he goes, bro, it's practically Rammstein, but New Zealand. I'm like, oh, cool. So
well,
I'm thinking the whole album was going to be in like the
Black and-
Maori language or whatever they're getting over there, and then it's sort of in between. But it's
Yeah.
like it's a story as well of how things
Oh,
were
wow.
back in the day.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had to ask my mate. I said, "What was the guy they're talking about eating hearts? Were you guys cannibals?" And he's like, "No, back in the day, if there was like a battlefield or whatever, the chief would eat someone's heart or something. I don't know the full story, but
Yeah.
there would be a heart that would get eaten, consumed.
Brutal.
So imagine that for a concept for your metal album.
Yeah, that's a good concept.
But you're not Kiwi, so don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. And I've vouched
Cheer, bro.
to no longer write negative songs. It's my new. I'm gonna try it for 2020.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be happy, positive. I think metal's too saturated with this negative energy, and I didn't get into metal because I was a negative person.
Well, they say people who listen to metal are the happiest and calmest people in the world.
Uplifting.
I reckon.
And a lot of bands are fucking it for everyone and doing this depressing
I'm pretty calm
shit.
when I listen to metal. When I'm not listening to metal, I might be a bit fucking loopy, but
Yeah. It's like it's sucking all the negative, aggressive energy out of me because it's so
especially
aggressive.
you can see the draw to it when you're a young kid. Like, you can let out a lot of fucking
just
anger
from
and
listening
aggression.
to it, yeah. But I'm gonna try a happy approach for the next couple of Nucleust songs. See how that goes. Rainbows and fairy dust.
Rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns.
If you work unicorn, the word unicorn, into one of your songs,
It could be like rape the unicorn.
well, that's
Purge
not
it
really.
for all
That's
the
not
that
really.
sounds pretty positive there,
That's
mate.
not very positive, mate. Maybe sweet, sweet love with a unicorn, but not rape.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right. So we should wrap it up, eh?
Yeah, probably. How long have we been going for?
About that in a bit, mate. So
About that in
thank
a
you,
bit, yeah.
thank you very much for coming out, mate.
Thanks
Good
for
to have you
having
on.
me, boys.
Anytime.
Lovely.
You are welcome back
Chatting.
anytime. This is
We'll
our
do the
very
gaming one
first,
next.
first guest.
Next
good
time
chat.
I'm on, we'll play a video
Game, we'll
game.
have to figure out how to actually set up a
I'll ask old
gaming
mate
thing.
Bobby Poff.
Some sort of
Probably.
screen time of me just getting pummeled by you guys
Well,
on Pornhub while we talk about metal.
While we sing about positive vibes.
Yeah.
wow. Cool.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for this.
Right, no worries. Cheers,
No
mate.
problems.
And we're out.
Cut.